What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well today, and welcome back to the Cairo GP. This is a track created by Punker Jeffy, and it is a semi-fantasy track based on the MXGP of Sardinia, placed in an Egyptian environment, which I think is very, very cool. We don't think we've had that in this game before. But when we fly around the track here, it does take some heavy inspiration from Sardinia, as I mentioned, but it looks like it's just been opened up a lot more and made a lot more fast, a lot flowier. And basically the comments on MXB mods seem to reiterate that quite a lot. People just saying like very wide open, fun sand surfing. And that's probably one of my favourite things to do on the channel. I can't lie. I think it probably goes Supercross, Enduro, and then when we go over to the national side, it is sand tracks. So I'm very, very excited to try this out and see how it all goes and rides together. I think this might be Jeffy's first track. He didn't state it on the release at all, but I tried clicking on his profile and it just threw up an error. It wouldn't load the page, unfortunately. But it looks like he's thanked a couple of people. We got some assets here, Monster Energy ones created by Ross Hell, which apparently there's some dispute on if they are ripped or not from various games. But he's also put a little disclaimer in there as well, saying that it'll be the only track he uses them for because he wasn't aware, and just sounds like an all-round really, really nice guy. He seems to really enjoy Egypt, said he spent 2 weeks touring around it, so it's nice to see that it is an interest of his and he has a little bit of passion towards it. And I think we should spin some laps, try and go as fast as humanly possible, and also try and get a little bit more practice in on the old gas machine, because again, that is what I'm trying to get used to right now. I can't even find myself in the pits. You know what? Doesn't matter. Without further ado, let's get into it.
For all of you passionate gamers, you can now get 20% off all G Fuel products worldwide by using code Lynds at checkout. And for any of you motorheads looking for some new drip or apparel, use code MXPR_Lynds15 fxrracing.eu to get 15% off. All links and codes are in the description down below. Enjoy the video and drop a cheeky little like and subscribe.
I mean, if we look over at the map on the right-hand side there is maybe one corner that looks semi-tight, if that makes sense. So this should be very, very fast and very wide open. People seem to enjoy it quite a lot from MXV mods looking at it. And yeah, the Egyptian, I don't think we've had an Egyptian environment before, which is actually really, really cool. I myself, I've never been to Egypt. I'd probably like to go one day, but I've heard that some parts of it are just very, very touristy, and apparently there's a few quite scammy locations to it as well. But the whole, I guess, well, I don't even know what you'd call it, the whole idea behind the pyramids and how they were built, etc. I love getting lost in those sorts of rabbit holes and just reading whatever the next conspiracy theory is and just how people theorize it being put together. This isn't meant to start something about the Illuminati being real, or I don't really mind what you believe in at all. It's just, I just think it's really, really fun to explore all the different opportunities or just the different ideas people have towards it. The amount of times, like, I occasionally, I don't watch him religiously, but when I see like a Joe Rogan podcast clip appear on my feed, a lot of the time it's talking about pyramids, and I really do enjoy just watching and see what people are waffling on about with it all. And I'm interested to know, like, what are people's views on that? Because I've seen all sorts, from obviously like slaves working countless hours non-stop, using just like massive beam stuff as leverage to try and get these huge bits of stone up there. I've seen stuff like them using sound waves to somehow levitate them up there, and there's all sorts of weird stuff. But the precision of it all, where it doesn't relate to like light and something to do with space and directions and all that. It's pretty pinpoint accurate. I just think it's really, really cool. I really do. And I don't know what, I guess, method I would be leaning towards the most in its creation, but that's for another day. I'm not going to start waffling on about the pyramids now. We are just going to enjoy some sand surfing, nice fun flowy track hopefully. Now, I did make the mistake, thinking about it now, of not putting any road on for this, because sand erodes very, very differently in this game than other surfaces. For the most part, it seems to just get faster and faster, tends to smooth itself out, and there's not too many rough jumps or rough bumps around this track that I think would turn into kickers and kick you over the bars. So I think this is going to be very, very quick. And he's built up the outsides enough everywhere where you can just rail them really, really hard. It's very quick, like very, very quick. I can see why people were enjoying it. If he was to, and it's a free track as well, obviously. I've seen some people getting a little bit annoyed recently at the amount of paid tracks that I cover. So you'll be happy to know this is free, which is good. And if we get in a full lobby on this, can you imagine like 40-ish people just going side by side, bar banging, going this fast around the track? I think that'd be really, really enjoyable. From a texture perspective, the ground isn't the highest in terms of detail, but it kind of works. If I was to imagine this just out in the desert somewhere, obviously there wouldn't be a lot going on. It'd just be quite a smooth, fine layer of sand. The colour of the sand I really, really like. Not meant to be racist at all, you know what I mean. And in terms of the norms that he's got here, it's not over the top. It's just enough to get those little undulations, those little bits of irregularity, and you can kind of see almost like where it's been windswept and it's formed its own little layers. It looks like someone's been around it and just dragged the sand out once, so they haven't like perfectly groomed it. They've just gone around and dragged it and smoothed it out a tiny bit, and it looks just really good. And to the point where on the off track as well, I keep seeing like tractor marks, digger marks, if you want to refer to them as, being like moving around the track off the sides. So he's spent a lot of time, and he hasn't just spent it on the track. He's gone to the extent of making the off track look as good as it can do as well. And whilst it looks fairly like barren and secluded and in the middle of nowhere, there are still bits about with the shrubbery. So I personally really, really like it. It does feel a lot like Sardinia in terms of its environment. Sardinia obviously being an Italian island, not Egypt at all. They do have a very, very similar feel to each other. But the skybox that we've got going on over there takes me to a whole different location. So I just think this is really, really well done and really, really enjoyable so far as well. It's not a track that I think will be very good practice for me when it comes to the Outdoors Championship, because it is on the easier side. And as we know, the outdoor tracks this round have been pretty damn brutal with their rough. But that is not to discredit at all from being a very, very fun track. So the Gas seems to be riding around here no problem at all right now. However, if I was to then go and load it up on a track like the GP of France, or even, oh God, what was the name? What's the name of the sand round that we've had this year? It was in the Netherlands, I think. Can't remember. It's going to really, really annoy me. It's probably going to annoy you guys as well. I can't remember. But yeah, if I was to go there, I think I'd be kicked around quite a lot. And we're doing some searching. We're doing some hunting for some prime settings on the old Gasser. So I'm actually enjoying it. The more and more I'm riding it, I'm enjoying it quite a lot. The front end feels fairly stable in it. You tend to know what you're getting. It's a tiny bit slipperier, I think, than the Husky on the back end. And in some of the corners, you wish that it would turn a tiny bit sharper. But that kind of gives it just makes it feel a little bit more planted overall. I'm really sorry that I didn't hit that left side. I thought I could still clear it from the right-hand side. So we've even got, not split lane, if you know what I mean, but we've even got different options where you can jump different bumps. I mean, that's quite cool, taking off on the right-hand side there. And I think that's one of the fun things about sand, is trying to find just these high spots or low spots and all the rollers to see where you can either... I'll go over the bars here, aren't I? Oh, no, okay, we're fine. Thank you for not putting collisions on that fence, sir. I really appreciate it. You find the high spots or you find the low spots to see where you can either gain time by staying super low, or see if you can jump one extra bump, which also helps you gain time and try and like triple and double your way around the track. Probably one of the most fun aspects of all of outdoors riding for me, at least. I really, really do enjoy it. And I like how actually, I don't know if this is the lighting or what, but you notice how the textures, they go from like a little bit darker in the middle, which is the bit of the track that you'd assume would be the most ridden on. It then gets a bit lighter on the two sides of the track, and then on the very outskirts it gets even lighter still. There's almost like there's no transition there. It's a really, really smooth gradient. And if you've ever had the displeasure of trying to texture a track in this game, you know how difficult that is to do, is trying to get the things overlapping and displaying properly. So it looks like he's done a really, really good job. I'm actually really, really impressed. I think this is a man that clearly has a lot of talent when it comes to building tracks. He hasn't said that it's his first track in the release at all. If I've played another track by him, I really, really do apologise. I'm trying to just, you know, rack my head a little bit to try and think of one. But yeah, I tried looking on MXB mods and I couldn't see anything under his name because it wasn't loading properly at all. But luckily I got the track downloaded and we can spin a few laps around here, and so far it's been really, really good fun. If I crashed yet? Probably gonna crash now. Very, very close. Maybe I've crashed like once, but you see it's very, very straightforward, to the point where I don't even know if you'd have to sit around the entirety of this track. I think you could just stand around every single corner, around the outside side. I swear I just heard a chainsaw back there. So we've got a little bit of ambience as well. We've got a little bit of crowd action going on. Let's jump up over that. Do not want to take your back wheel on that as you go over it, or you will be eating some sand in no time. And it's quite interesting to get the glimpses of Sardinia in here, then mixed in with his own custom stuff. And it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel awkward. It doesn't feel out of place. It all feels like it flows quite nicely together. And it's just done a really, really good job. I'm not sure how much time he spent on the track from start to finish, but he should be very, very proud of his creation right here. And in terms of like a GP being ran in Egypt, do you reckon that's a possibility, or do you think that's a little bit too on the hot side? I mean, I know when they race in Qatar, for example, it turns into night races because it's a little bit too hot there. When I went to watch the Moto GP in Qatar, it was all under floodlights at night too, and it's a cool scene. It's a cool environment. You just wonder, realistically, is it doable to ship all these floodlights into the middle of the desert for somewhere that maybe doesn't have the infrastructure or something like this? But in terms of a track, the style of track that would be built there, I think it'd be very, very cool. I'm just not sure of the logistics, let's say, the infrastructure needed to host a massive MotoGP race. But I think the issue with MotoGP, MXGP at the moment, is they try going to a lot of countries that are actually, they are underdeveloped countries, to be fair, but they're so far away that majority of the teams or the riders just can't afford to trek all the bikes and the stuff over there. So you see MXGP races going on in places like Qatar, and they've just got nowhere near a full lineup on the gate, and it's just crazy stuff to watch. I mean, when I went to watch the MotoGP, you have what's called the MotoGP Village, which is basically like the VIP stuff behind the scenes, where like you get to see, you know, you don't get to go into the pits. You know, you see the pits. You might see some of the riders walking about. You'll see a lot of the team members walking around, and you just get to go and kind of take everything all in and see what it's all about. But when we went to Qatar, everyone had like these own individual pods and rooms that they'd not be living in, but where they'd spend their time in, simply because they couldn't get, you know, all of their like massive trucks and lorries or whatever it may be, and their like RVs to live in. They couldn't get all of that down to where the track was. So that is another issue of that is the thing that has collisions. Okay, Jeffy, I see how it is. Does this have collisions as well? No. Okay, so the inflatable has collisions, but the others don't. Noted. Do not accidentally go 60 miles an hour into the side of an inflatable. Note to self. But this is really, really well done. Genuinely, I'm thoroughly impressed, and it might be from a little bit of a biased opinion because of how much I enjoy wide open soundtracks on this game. It's very weird, me, on this game at this point. I don't like wide open SX tracks. I don't like wide open tracks normally, but if it's a wide open sand track, I'm all for it. Sign me up. For some reason, it is well within my skill level to ride sand tracks fast for 30 minutes. So maybe I won't do any of the AMA rounds. Maybe I'll just sign up for Southwick and that's it. I'll leave all the other ones. Don't want to touch them. Don't want to go near them. Maybe a Redbud. Maybe a Millville as well. Who knows? But I'm very, very excited for that. So we now have been told that the outdoor season starts on the 31st. So we've got a good amount of time to sit and practice and try and get settings dialed, whatever it may be. So hopefully come the outdoors season starting, we should be in a very, very comfortable place. And I am excited for it. I really, really am. Should be able to do each and every round, which is something that I haven't been able to do for a while now in the past few seasons of whether it's SX or outdoors. So I'm looking forward to that very, very much. And hopefully you guys can join me on the journey, cheer me on. And just like Supercross, if we can get a couple of wins, a handful of wins along the way, I'll be a very, very happy man. So thank you as always for the ongoing support. It really, really is appreciated. Again, if I could just ask for a cheeky like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And again, comment down below what you thought. Anywhere I can improve, anything you'd like to see particularly on the channel, I am more than open to some feedback. And have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you guys are up to. I really, really do mean it. Wish you all well, wish you all the best. Catch you in the next video. Peace.
I'm working hard, I'm sacrificing my life, I'm sacrificing my mind, I'm sacrificing my sanity, but most importantly, I'm sacrificing my time. Boy, I feel fine, I feel like I am a king. Honestly, I can't complain, even with faith that's the size of a grain of some salt, I will still move a mountain and do what I want. I got salt to beat with my